In this video, we're going to solve a quadratic equation using graphing. We're also going to talk about how to organize our quadratic equation in what looks like a system of equations. So what we're trying to solve here is this quadratic: n squared subtract 7n plus 3 equals -7. So what we want to know is, when is the left side equal to the right side? Okay, so for what input n would I get an output of -7? Okay, so there's two functions that we're looking at here. One is on the left side, one is on the right side. So we are going to write the system of equations as n squared subtract 7n plus 3. And then our second equation will be -7. So we want to know for what n value we'll have an output of -7. Okay? For every input, and you can see it to the graph over here on the right, for every input, my output is going to be -7 for the horizontal line, which is y equals -7. And I've already highlighted the answers here so we can see where they're going to be. They're going to be the intersection points. So the steps you need to take on your calculator are the following. The first thing you need to do would be to go to the y equals button, and then you need to enter two equations. So one equation being n squared subtract 7n plus 3, the other one being -7. Make sure there's no other equations in your calculator, and also make sure that your plots at the top of your screen are unhighlighted. And the second step would be to actually graph. So go to Zoom 6, which is your standard viewing window, and that will graph. Okay, this would be graphing with a standard viewing window. And then the second thing we want to do would be to find the intersection points. So you need to push second, trace, and that will give our calculate options. And then we want to go to option 5, intersect, because we're looking for an intersection. Now once you get back to your graph after clicking on intersect, it's going to ask for two things. It's going to ask for the two functions that you're using. It's going to say first curve, second curve. So if you look in the top left of your screen, you'll see that your cursor, you're either under the equation in y1 or you're on the equation for y2. So I'm going to push enter just to select that I'm on one of those equations, and it should automatically change to the other equation, either y2 or y1. So second curve, question mark, I'm going to push enter because now I see that my cursor is on my second function. And then it's going to ask for a guess. So I'm just going to move left or right so that I'm as close as I possibly can to being on the intersection point, and I'm going to push enter. And then it'll give me the intersection point. Okay, so the fourth step, just to reiterate, is going to be first curve, where you're just going to push enter. And then it's second curve, you're going to push enter. And then it's going to say guess. You're going to move to intersection, and push enter. And that should give you the two values you have over here on the right. I did this in Desmos because I don't have a graphing calculator option on my computer. So you see I entered the two equations. I graphed my parabola, I graphed my line, and then where they intersect, this is where they're going to have both the same outputs. So now I can see my solutions here would be n equals 2 and n equals 5. At both of those inputs, I have an output of -7. And that's how we solve a system of equations, or model a system of equations by looking at the quadratic equation here. And really you can solve any type of equation, not just quadratic, using the same method of system of equations and then entering it into your calculator.